presidential election, when you are just blessed and told everybody in this country, in any case, the gentleman contested Kennedy Japan, the one who won, and lost terribly, the Mijima guy, he contested a Japan and lost terribly. And for many people, there was no way he would stand a chance if a Japan says, this is my constituency. Let's not get it wrong. We had Kennedy Japan traveling to constituencies in the north, and he has said it before, how he shares resources to save people from losing their seats. Yeah. And yet, he could not
deliver his own.
You asked the question, what did he share?
Yeah.
What did he do in his own constituency? I'm not in favor of vote buying, so what did he do in his own constituency? This is the evidence.
And we shouldn't forget, he's still the incumbent member of parliament in this constituency.
And his term hasn't expired. He speaks about the hundreds of jobs that he alone, on his individual capacity, has created for them. And when he campaigns there, he tells them, what I have done for you, it's not government.
Even government cannot do for you.
Yes.
Okay. In fact, he compares his personal projects when he was running for president and other members of parliament were, let's say he had a difficulty with the Bantama gentleman. He said, if the Bantama gentleman, with all the things he has achieved in government, can boast of 30% of the things that he, Kennedy Japan, has done for his people, he will leave parliament. So it's phenomenal for the people to not reject, but refuse all the, and again, there's
a rejection.
They are, yes, okay. So there are monumental things he has built there, not just jobs. Yeah. And everybody knows that. Yeah. Over the years, as member of parliament, he has really done a lot for the people there. For them to forget all this time, and just because he steps off and has his blessed child being put in place, they reject the gentleman. It is difficult to explain in terms of voter trends. And let's not get it wrong, that constituency is not very homogeneous. People have thought it was. He just has a way of making you, no matter your lineage or thinking, believe that he's the right person to put in that particular seat.
And this is an election that shattered Kennedy Japan's invincibility.
True.
And there's a reason why Kennedy Japan is that bombastic. He feels almost impervious to controversy, impervious to what? Crime sometimes. True. Some of the things he's done borders on criminality.
That's correct.
He was on the national television and called for people to be attacked.
Yeah.
We know what happened to that journalist. Yeah. He died. Our own colleague was a victim of this. Anywhere else, and some of you've been in this fight, anywhere else, that person in the least is inciting people to cause harm. Nothing happened to him. Why? Because he was relying on his constituency.
That's right.
That was his base. You know, he had that place locked down. You can't touch him because he was delivering votes for the MPP in that area that nobody else had done before, and he felt invincible. The electric this year have told him.
I led Erastus Asare Donkor to lodge a formal complaint at the police headquarters against his open threats on Erastus Asare Donkor. 2 years, the police lifted no finger. They did absolutely nothing about it. All they needed to do was to invite him to ask him a couple of questions.
Exactly.
But because he had become so untouchable, they couldn't even invite him.
Well, he was untouchable until last morning.
Well,
and he still chairs the defense and interior committee.
The electors have delivered the biggest, I guess, verdict in terms of the fact that, well, you see your smoothness level. If you think that you can play with the law, eventually the thumb will punish you. You have
He has seen it, Evans. Maybe we can get into other constituencies. That's Asin Central, the other constituencies in the Western region in particular.
And still, because there's something I need to do very quickly. Remember that now we're doing analysis and we need to pull back the thematic. True. You said he's done a lot more for the people there.
That's right.
So did it really reflect in the lives of the generality of the people? Right?
Okay.
It's possible over time. Let's put that to test, because that then gives us a sense of what really was happening there. Although you guys thought he was doing something great, did he show in the lives of people? So this is the poverty map there of the Asin Central. Severity was 3.22% in 2015. And you have the
incidence of 24.37.
And just look at the color of the map here, because as we've always said, the lighter the shade, the less poverty you have, the deeper the shade, the more poverty. And stay with me on this. Because then in 2021, it's gone up.
No, the severity
has gone up.
Yeah.
The severity has gone up significantly from 3 to what? 42%.
But Evans, I mean, I'm not holding brief for him. in the last few years, in the years since 2020, a few people can really say within their hearts that they have not suffered like, and again, this is not an urban area. So as for having severity of poverty increasing, it is without doubts. I'm not so sure whether, and okay, I mean, for MPs who brag that they have alleviated poverty and done all the things, which have seen some improvement, but I think it's rather the general conditions of the economic situation we find ourselves in that's reflecting in this figure.
Okay, let's go to other constituencies now, because there's a lot more. And I've been told in my ear that we have a lot more coming through for you tonight already. You want to go
to the Western region? Let's go.
You want to go to the Western region?
Yes.
And Evans, the developments that appear...
That will come in.
The developments that appear to delay the declaration of the results or the collation of the results at the collation centers. As we understand now, former President John Dramani Mahama has issued a caution to the military. And he says for those of them who are also participating in the process, that is leading to the processes that is frustrating the ability of the electoral officials to ensure that the results are collated in time, they should back off because they will answer.
Okay.
He says they will be held accountable. And
that is an important caution as we move into... We have Bodi coming through. Bodi presidential.
Yes, and John Mahama polling some 13,843, 62.9%, and Dr. Bawumia 7,884.
Okay, so then we check what happened there the last time.
Well, the last time, John Mahama 15,423, Akufo-Addo pulled 12,235, and that's actually a margin of 3,200.
Do I see a drop there for the
turnout?
NPP. So this is...
But I also see a drop there for John Mahama.
Yes,
right?
A drop for John Mahama.
From 15 now to 13.
Except that even then, he still wins this with actually close to 6,000 votes.
Because Bawumia has significantly dropped. Far beyond what Nana Addo.
Let's just look at the Nana Addo.
But you should also pay attention to the turnout.
Exactly.
In 2024, it is 64.5.
And now it
was 87 in 2020.
For the turnout, Samson, it cuts across. We know that in 2024, the turnout is very poor. But this is it. Nana Addo gets 12,235. 12,235. Even though Mahama gets 15,000, Nana Addo does so well. However, in 2024, Dr. Bawumia loses almost 5,000.
You have the pen.
5,000. Watch this. He loses almost 5,000. So from 12,000, he gets to 7,000. Mahama drops also, but he drops by less than 2,000 to some 13,000 from the 15,000.
And the gap is significant.
It is.
From 3,000 difference to now almost doubling the number.
To close to 6,000, almost 100%.
Yeah.
And that's what shows you what this election is looking, what this election has become for the NPP. There's been a drop. A decline.
And this is Bodi,
in the Western North.
Evans, we're having this conversation on Friday, and we're saying for the NDC to win this election, it needed to increase significantly in the areas that already won. This is a perfect example of that. When you have a gap of almost double what you had previously, the signal it sends to you is that your opponent is not making up the 50%, and you are inching up and building up the spaces. When the bigger Asante block numbers come in, you are chipping that away a bit.
But also, it also means that in this case, considering that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had what, 12,000?
12,000.
And now Bawumia has 7,000.
Yeah.
It means that the NPP is losing the vote.
And the more it loses, the tendency that it will get 50% is actually dropping.
This is it also. Because there's a low voter turnout, it affects both, except that it affects the NPP more.
That's right.
So Mahama also loses almost some 2,000 of his votes. But in the case of the NPP, they lose 5,000. And so it inures to Mahama's benefit more than it would do. So for instance, if Mahama had lost this vote and the NPP had maintained their vote, then you say, bingo. But unfortunately for Dr. Bawumia, you can say that. So more of the NPP people didn't show up to vote compared to the NDC.
Now, and you cannot take away those economic factors there. And again, why is the economy important? We said going into the election, the economy is going to be the biggest thing. Considering where we are economically, historically, we haven't been this low, right? There have been some recovery, but it hasn't been a recovery that you can really say what's reflecting in people's pockets. And the thing about Bodi, though, if you look at the shades, and Winston, I'm going to do this again.
Yes.
Right? And then you come back to 2020.
Both have increased significantly.
Yeah, both have increased. And
both
so,
incidents and severity.
I'm doing this to show the trend, right?
Yeah.
The Ghanaians, and we say a lot about how economic factors influence outcomes. Yes. So when Ghanaians are punishing you at the end of the 8th term, and this is the attempt to break the 8th.
True, yeah.
The reason why nobody had succeeded in breaking the 8th fundamentally is that people won't get tired of you. The incumbent becomes sloppy. They become power drunk sometimes. People see the affluence, but they can't see that in themselves. They can identify with the people.
I term it all as impunity. It gets to the height of it. I mean, people become almost as if they are impervious to change and that nobody can tell them anything else apart from the possibility that they will be in office for power. You remember when the NDC lost in 2016, the conversation that, well, the NDC is going to be in opposition for more than 16 years and that we're going to make sure that they stay away for 30 years and all of the things that were surrounding that. Let's not forget, this is 2016, where Akufo-Addo won with a huge margin. We sat here, we were even saying it is almost impossible to claw back. But over the years, they've been chipping away at that in bits, in so much substantive form.
Look, in fact, in 2020 July, when the John Mahama, I think when he was launching his campaign at UPSA, for instance, you and I, Evans, we actually said that who would have thought that John Mahama, after 4 years, could come back and have this kind of acceptability.
He looked finished at the time.
It was only an indication in 2020, as far back as 2020, that Ghanaians had become disappointed in a sort of governance. And if there's anything like a blessing, COVID-19 was a blessing to the NPP in 2020.
Okay, let's do parliamentary very quickly in Bodi. And again, you expected this to happen. The parliamentary candidate, Samson Ahi. Yeah, and we know him. He's gone very quiet over the last. He used to talk quite a bit. Yeah, he's gone very quiet. He was doing a lot of good work there.
Pulling some, 13,000.
But he's been there. Let's see how he did the last time.
The last time he pulled, 13,621. But this time around, he pulls still 13,000, except that.
But he did get over 50% this time around because
no, he didn't.
This is massive. 58%.
58.6%.
He gets 58%. But you see, this time he reduces also. Because in the past, he gets 13,600.
So the trick is in the significant underperformance of the NPP candidate.
Of the NPP. Because in 2020, the NPP candidate gets 11,000. And then in 2024, he gets some... Okay, so there you have it. 11,000 here.
And the turnout was
87%.
Yes.
So this is...
You have the pen?
So this is 11,000.
But today, the turnout is 60-something percent, right?
So it actually shows in all of it how the turnout is impacted this election. But also... the turnout impacts the NPP more.
True. It
impacts them negatively more than the NDC.
Okay, so that's a Bodi picture. There's a lot more coming through.
I think we have Western now.
We have Western.
Yes.
There's a few of them here. Oh, goodness me. This is something.
I think they are related. Two of them.
This is something. And I'm going to leave something to do this because something has been looking forward to this. That is the shocker of the evening. When I heard this first, what did I say to you? That there's going to be a tsunami.
Yeah.
And I said that, I don't know what that's something when you saw, I don't know what you thought. But this is Andy Ejapa-Mensah.
That's correct.
Losing his seat there. In a place where it wasn't supposed to happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he had control over these seats. And check the margin by which he loses. And this is the man who came into the race and suffered. He suffered at the hands of Ejapa-Mensah and his people because he was purporting.
So you mean Mr. Ama?
Yes, correct. So there were all sorts of allegations against him about who he wasn't, and he claimed he was. And here he is.
But this is fascinating.
You mean the lawyer thing?
That's correct.
Now let me bring Wing Sing and Raymond in, because this is an area they know very well. And we must all say, Bobo, as we call him, is a common friend. We all know him. We all,
right.
you know, we play with him. Way before he became a member of parliament. So this is something that we understand. But I did not expect that Ejapa Mensah will lose. And when I heard it, I said to you it's going to be a tsunami, because if Ejapa Mensah, he was safe. He's done a lot.
When you whispered it, I said it was an impossibility.
Yeah, you said it was impossible.
Well,
yes. And anybody thought, I heard it first, I said, until
it sounded like he was actually more of a national campaign than a constituency campaign.
And Winston, we spoke to him.
Yeah.
That's when I got convinced that, goodness me, he's lost. And I said, it's going to be a tsunami.
Yes,
because it's not something that he should be losing.
No, well, but you see, I'll tell you this. It's a constituency I know. And when I called him, I was actually surprised when I heard that he had lost. So I decided to find out by placing a call to him. But this is it. The NDC in that constituency. Now, the NDC ran a very good campaign in the Western region. This was their campaign. So the Sekondi Takoradi Metropolis is consistently voted for the NPP. What is there to show?
Okay.
That's the campaign.
Okay. I heard
what is there to show.
When Sami Gyamfi went there, he was saying the same thing.
Yes, what is there to show? So they started this conversation of, Sekondi, it's been 28 years of the NPP. What is there to show? What is there to show? Then, Blay Nyamike Ama comes into the picture, starts doing...
With poverty severity of 42.7%.
Yeah. And look, anybody who knows Sekondi will tell you. So it's a place that you don't have to do much because you have very good roads, well laid out roads in the community, but it's a place where people don't have jobs. So it's a place that you have to help the people get jobs. So,
and by the way, we say poverty heat map primarily is jobs.
So Aman comes into the picture. He starts by beginning to help, market women. He's going there. He's giving them, loans. He starts the loans. Then Andrew Ejapa Mensah gets into the picture, also gives some grants. But then the campaign at the time was, why hasn't he done it all this while? Why did it have to take us to come in before he shows up, for instance? Okay, so he started with loans. Then he started with other donations to schools here and there, children who are writing their BECE. So the main campaign was the longevity of the NPP in that constituency and the no dividend to show for the long while that the NPP has been in the Sekondi constituency. Because ordinarily, you look at the constituency and say that Papa Wosu-Ankma had served as member of parliament for 5 terms. By the time Papa Wosu-Ankma was leaving, he actually won with just a margin of 1,000. And we said that when you stay for a long period, people actually get fed up with you. Mensah is only done 2 terms, and if you have conversations with him, this would have been his last term. He didn't plan to stay on for long.
Okay.
When
Mantamu Emra Mayene Armstrong Alugbe Eni Enkomo na
Kusi Obuadum.
Okay.
Kusi Obuadum no ni.
Ntenya Alugbe ne ko ye. Onu asema ni ball so ache na oni asempa di mi nti atona ko so. Kami akra kam de mattress be man no.
Asante yini dio. Edin kase pa.
Ene Miane Armstrong, second Armstrong ni komo na omiehu ne ekoso ewo hafo mantanu. Menu amache.
Me je so me wa.
Yo, baby a wugina no twamfoni so me.
Yo. Me no ka say there mo operating as chief of Abato Officer so. Na you gusu coalition no yedi akire. Na so far no o share result and saka na team say na surprise ka fear NLC average Abato mo Abakusem we go 24 years. So the average for na to about the MPP America na fear si adane no. Na aye surprising kakra na mame famon call Niamensaka that is Tano North about to impress so one man chrono aye dua nkwanta eho any city back so far yes information saka to say MPP America no omo etimi return omo seat ano ana oriyan fogiri obo akom this Ghana phone mi say na obo Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia Echidom Papa ono na bebe yi ya ma me fira pembe e di efi ho a okoko gina de ma no ya to abato ni na wi ana say we awie ne kenkan ne ka bom no na me for Dr. Gideon Boakon no anya 21,127 votes. So what they call a percentage wise when you 54.03%. 54.03% and on the for Gideon Boakon when you our town of our two so I feel when you when this Kuno now also a present Kaira to Ban wedding Kuno for Pius Opoku something. Also you be a Cambo now when you're 17,707. 17,707. What they call a percentage wise on the end 45.29%. And Emma Unya ye honum. And he say about 2.4 one more epeja or me for Dr. Gideon Boakon so no and Eddie in Kunimo Hodma Dibia Akoyi Eddie Amanoa Minuka says a parliament essay you must no and a Bible seat town of or more and them Yako presidential or me for Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia or no enya 19,738 19,738 or the call a percentage more a 50.41%. 50.41% and Unyaho. Let him say, Memon California and I say, Yan Fakas, Yan na Yan Fantuja, and Yan Mamisha and this Diana Yan Crosso. John Dramani Mahama, only 17,952. 17,952. And Unya, a percentage, a 45.85%. 45.85%. And John Dramani Mahama, Onya, Omaka no dear no, minim 7 fine class amount the identity na Yaboso Ediamao, Daniel Augustus Lati, 78. And I feel so no, Olumian for our Yamamia could on the it is so called church, and for the currency. I feel Christian Cobra Andrews, Onunya, I have 48, a man of Makuma 48, Nunya, and I could feel Palu. Or also 13. Muhammad Frimpong or 11. And I feel so Nana Akosia Frimpoma or 57. I pay Hassan Ayaraga 75. And I feel so no Kofi Krante Onunya Emanemi and Sam. I feel George Chum Berema Edu Onunya 5. And Nana Kwame Bediakon or also Onya Man 306. As when we for Alan Kojoche maintain Enya 108. And it is all about talent of our team as well. Both presidential and our face of parliamentary no say and results no Asia Quayo or Honoma. So for other constituencies now for now no will be able to wait maybe certain or not on the wall a Stephen North about to impress so Menoka say no Omuguso Omo quality presidential and parliamentary no na yeah results banu a favor and this the Amayukono or mere problem of Kokodo, and like we say, waiting at the kiss because no results are ever almost a letter commission or going to link and the town of work and the social results in Saka, you who say, and you want say or mere problem of Kokodo, waiting every we need let's say 25 and 24 years and the Amayukono at Sakiana Sono, affiliate about our Stephen of no or maximum edico NDC, Amayukono, and no Ama, and no me I am surprising Kaka because a stronghold I have regional one of the stronghold at the MPP Amayuko then so about to feed you etinia than South Sunako Kupiemo a Sunafo Nova Deputy Sports Minister or me for Evans Opoku be a whole name in Pestria so and also coalition Omuguso Amuyen. The intelligent me I got that not say I likely say NDC Omobetini at the key stage because we have for Harna be Mohammed. Among all Yamin Yakambum, ya from the Bibinti, Fantuja because of the electoral commission, or now or for Hannah B, a be our nominal, or also waiting the Ayan Kundia Hormone, or call Ayas now for South Sodia, or for a Kopoku, and also if Ivanapa, and honorable Condauda, resource Ebanoso, if Ivanete say. 6 constituencies that I want for regional, and likely say NDC American who make me take 5 seats. Now for MPP American after about corner to say, can I nanka MPP for a 4 seats, MNDC 2 seats. Adani ako 5-1. Did say back 2 hours start you many and California results on it in Adani Amam to buy region say and I want to say ACO.
Yeah, that's Armstrong.
So that's very.
Na lawyer ne offer adena empesiano dodo na eso ni mo motwa ni wi ago heavy no so wi ago ase just say green na so baby bebere
green na so pa mjidi se Mahama kura be ye no nwanwa because the
parliamentary no
the projection bi a oye no nia ekoi no ebe bro na omo ana adwene na nti ase so na no so ekire say Ghanaians have decided to repose big confidence in him and you know onye very careful
do you think say sa 8th parliament the akoso no ama yahu say o command crofo say wo mommo so sa se de hu ni sese 28 20 128 20 127 no ene de on mo ye no and the difference say beto ama presidential ne dia and the parliamentary ne so yanto ne boom no nya big margin parliament na ne sise bi opeso ye no ontimi ye so the 8th parliament no o hwe said the kakra ye ne yahunu ye mrase bedwafo me from 96 am the mani di akire tamam penfo na hwe parliamentarians anomo na de tutu we hu a we dum no asa de sabi penfo animu a asa ye kudi agro ho no
we what can say more obi bisa me when put the omame the to 4th republic and the 3rd republic on say one was started in 96
yeah
menso no politics no misanso na menemu 79 na medi 15 wokasa memo MPC ni na dina metena habo wo
lawyer twen memo aboni nyina na abena nyame se mansam kra ya me awo anyway ni ma ko
asewe abato akwan ka obi a yekopa adwuma ma ne papa ayo
na me ka
abrane ni ato no
bayo ko di ko na ya ni Richard Menu ni ko mo fi Brekum East na o maye ni ekoso e wo sase binua no ele waye mo botozo ano de da hide me ya bra so what e be yi Rich mache
Yeah, we just doing that.
Yo umaye huni yako
Yeah, me no ka say the Brekum constituency na yejina na aye energy sound dia ma NDC American ka say dia ada sima parliament cheme ono na easy declare no say parliamentary member of parliament Emma Brekum is constituency me no ka say chairman MPP chairman Kokukakam ono abema na mo eho college center ha e ba say congratulations say wetin me promote edin kunim ewo abaye to no enna memrenda enti ovia MPP mo yeko ye ka say no na eba college center ha agiatun ebo honorable abasopa na yako member of parliament elect for Brekum is constituency maximum parliament chairman na eda kunimdia abama na ye declare no ye ma no enkasa akra enfanche for every Onua TV and anofe say Brekum is eba presidential John Dramani Mahama ye ka say no ono so na Brekum for eto abama na we wini ewa ha enti parliament no Ede Simon Parliament Eda anope de nyame ase na EC4 declare na declaration aba ona ene wedding kunim abato eto Brekum is no oko emra shebedwam eda kakra be na uka ahefo ehel
the declare no pese me dey radius. I want to thank God the radius kesepa the kind Wabuama between a baby was in Juma, Yanti Bonnie being Brekum. Sadi Adiana Damakumasepa, and I mean Pese, a baby better say, Bikumo Yina and Abasabasa Biesia, Kabehama Juni. And so a Radia Dum Amaya Pobunina, Yanti Bonnie MPP for no the Basabasa Biesi Womo, Sana Yanti Basabasane Bonnie Bio Brekum, and this Fonso. Yamiadum, Yatwa Banevi. nyame de akwanya no amaye dano nti na ye de rade asekese wo ho na yada obi bia boae ma battery course asrafo a ya police fo soja fo ani asrafo ahodo ni nyina yede wa hoden ababoae yada mo ase central pop yada mo ase de course bi anyamo anka obi ampo nte de akoso yada mo ase electoral commission wo brekum ha yada mo ase papa professionally they have acted na as I say bomb abaso da mo ase me bomb party mpanimfo nyina baso free Rajon Dramani Mahama so this year national chairman, the regional chairman, this year constituency chairman, the constituency secretary, and all the executives up to the branch executive, any party money nyina the bomb nyina baso da mo ase the W Kumaya se and you se kesi idea shem was abatu enu any bibia aka se medimpuntu ni adwumaden obu ni anidie ni ahobrase e betu abrekum foka medamo nyina ase.
Okay, we elder Simo Ampa bench Brekum East constituency. Ye ka say no ono na Brekum for ato ama no say omra na omedi woni omra se bedwam. O ka bia ka ho na yenti senior o ka member of the odi account no yenti
7 January 2025.
Oh, Rich.
When you looking for see you hitting the ground running, I'm almost there.
Rich, I phone no ebene kakra na eni no wo actually.
Me, I am not waiting for 7th January. I'm starting from tomorrow. Na you might be bebre wo kwa. Na me dem nsa so ma na meye. Abato ni tibi wo ama ntimi anwie. Schools no bebre wo na me sisi o madan e de ma wo. Akwan bebre wo na ma sha se reshefu. Atman to me and we and I have to obey. And to Yamia be fit now, Equi, I best have to us. And for me, I don't waiting for say a better declare me. After all, now you're young to Obama, me grana me. And the other necessary me train, they may come crying about David. I'm starting right away from tomorrow. Now, send drop on more idea. The BIA, so no Yamama since you also. We'll keep you updated. Now, my dear Yama Bekum, we are very determined. I am very, very focused. I remain very resolute. The Golden City no na wo baby no e be sandi ababi abosha ya shebe kumai no e rade ne meboafo e bo me ho modern say e betimi ni nyina abam amabrekumfo gidi omanya wo me mu no metumi aka say sa abakosemi ye kure bi ma muda last year e ba brekumfo de meto atwenyem na so mama bamu the amount of the betumi aye bia the school the ya kwan ya computer school konya bibia esa me ye de board computer apodo ne ade ya ye sadi over last year na gaba we ye ne MPP for ntem no was around 10,000 but ya me ada Roma the componya me mujidi atua sa 10,000 amame assign at the 9,000 plus difference atumu but just move the componya me mujidi kase pa na me mom sense form Mr. This over mama hoden na over mama nkwa amabosha amashebe kumaye no atimi abam e di adwuma den bi tu abrekum foka
we either Simo Ampa bencheme become constituency na yete nka se order bekuma nyina ase obo central for abaso bo police force pit mpanimfo ebebo adwuma eba abato e ho ban ema bibia ya asumpi no order obia ase na yebisa se peace na se member of parliament or ha no ofena bona baso ana inti de oka
friend na maintaining council enti na de o no oh minua no and your friend me why not I'll pick his call na bibi o wa wan frame mpo a me amekọ ne na so na bibi o wa na ono wa sha ase na bibi o wa na nka onya kwanya bi ma nko be ye no ye beka ya bi na bom na ya ye ya fom dia dia bobo afro enya NDC ni MPP sisi America say dia enya NDC ni MPP bi e bekum and obia all stakeholders are going to come on board obia wo so NDC ni o MPP ni o this ye dia ka e bekum agenda no a meka ho asam ati nyina be ka ye ho abom na ye de adwena se ho na yetumi to be kumpon. Okay, ezi other Simo and Pabin Chamber osi a development na oba nti enye MPP ana NDC be mu okam be kunfo nyina abom no apre apenkoso e de ama be kum na NDP be kum chama wa chama kankam onua TV so kakaba na oka ene me ho se waso honorable nsa amana mopa kakaba na aka hefo nyina etio
Edenya miasi se nia Ghana for epese of mine ko ebitina abrano bia ne yeto aba yamiadom abatui yesa sefi asase campaign ahodo ya chatting money bia eno na ye me ba metiu makao bia amabioti metiu makao bia amadikuhimu ya to abana wiase at the end of the day the people have spoken you come for akasa say mantle na ancestor MPP enko NDC yenyina ya te the first do akasa na yesre nyina ne se sundo ko na dem puntu ayere krone sabeka na yenyina seri epesi krone nyere me nyansa mebo minia ampade abaso medo emi aprekope eksamine na dijumadi dedre menena na jeswate ye nanfo ye adwuma bom ye bibia ene nyame adom nyame ede ahija se oga dabri kuma no na omprim funtumra yenyina nimdie bia ye wo bia ye beta na chi sene me ya bekum besosedi ye ya ebrekum afro political activism there ye ne ya wo de bia ebrin di obi abekye na adwene ye bobo ba na nyame ya na mfie na rujua metie bia jinche no beba bari jinche no ba nya dodo no beka no ade na yenyina ye bia se nyina mesre ye masha all resources all forces human resource and the BB bia na ye fare se ye famwa ye ni ama wa premfun to ma brekun so ayeka bele se na ye receive ama so but so due to ministry so yeah more position we dey more bia ba dey be say ye ni awini abanje ye dia no yara baby ade ko oba be dia dia na vision na jesu a onko ni ko pon to onko ko bi say chairman you are a very experienced politician you come history in terms of politics can you be free chairman who can come simple we will see my problem or chufanable now bra now ma wa would you walk to him and give him suggestion bet me aboma bukum at me assume for
oh me da say some make us some the guys say Simon me no think na near to office back home ye dig mabo me say me charge your best ko no student for me na tell office back why ye juma adwuma bi wo ha ye contract me no e me ekọ edi me no onu so ne me pa ye di juma bo edi why not say bibi nkoyie na menua no sabi o me fe no ye kasa me na to say ye play akuye na ye kasa ye di ho nkomo ye share ye di nkomo chairman scan wo man bi ni miso menua wo so wo bi man sai ye di sa nkomo no edi wo continue to be like that edi who be na nkoyie why not I will tell him menua ye di say that say be aba bo pro no me so no so ye di sending to vie na ofa na be bo fine you know the winner takes all that then come in when we are repairing our own society. So the be a good meaning ama in the young first. After all, maybe a great Javia, yes, you yamen to the Africa, remember, Chimaneba. What legacy are we leaving? And then I am most important. Send a very big class of maybe to a man, Eban on the first so I have one to Hayaka.
So, really, Mr. John Pachu, you say, at the opponent here. Nursing Kokucheme. Last year, Minian Minaka said, a band do over being declared, you know. Obantema had a gift to give up a Bonabaso.
But we do in the watching MP can as a BC can. Now, Bilbao and on one official of a threat and on a sober about not every freedom one you if you are and then the whole day you're now and Ramanda and Sumana. If you have a chance to say you want more, if you are again more Kasaya Hoodie, I will have to give him briefing as to what has transpired in Libya. After I said, we had a whoop or not as a member of parliament. At the 7th of December, you still continue to be member of parliament. Here be access for you, and the change can be on your say, we don't get over there, so they
Rich, yeah, that's it. Miana Sena Yefawo NC Hanum na Yemra studio ha na yemme wie bibia sanse akasima be se aduonumu a ba ku bi pene date na chese yame emu so na ekuo fufuro asan agbantie wo se yetimi ni lawyer ewie etiofa misra 20 minutes die fire no part
anyway yenko wati wa na de ni wi o zoom ne so on wa se no election command center
mini Matthew mini Matthew bia na chese oni lawyer so aba be finalize bibia wo honom eti Matthew ma che ehin na wugina na me ahwe ne ekoso ewo babi a wonansi
yo mejo so enano pay me no ka say mejina collection center ewo Sehwiyo so constituency CCA
Pacho yetio to asomaye mwaki kama nebi
oba aha say so de adwebro na wo ha ohwe abonten afiti endro a nyina no na party supporters no omugu ha bebre ba ekodru ahomache fa baby no na ayese omu nyina omo ate ada na no pay ubedru ha I mean say ombete say omo party rep na say omo nipa omo ato abama no aye den ya boni din say ono na we ni na oba ha collation le koso de be 179 polling stations result na ye collate sisi ano nyame adom yetumi abomoden a collate ma aka bako 8 officials no omugu so a sisi ana omutwe omumu kakra ekonomu iso kakra esi a omu akwatena se ombeto so na omu de 8 no aka ho na ye de eno nso esi na yakọ parliamentary no so iti obisa aha se de adwebro na wo ha na emuma no pe na ese boys ana se supporters omo start say omo baba ku a number no increase a ese basa ye bi ya ba police for na hwe na basa na ba fom iti obisa de ekoso wo ha ni
me na se na ye fa wo ensi ye betwa ni akanyina
Ido minase.
Yeguso ekoye nim na enche bia ye de ni nyina asi na ya sori so akọ de ya kakra etwiri yesiasen aba na ya ba beto aso ye ne lawyer ewa ha ye ne no enwie ye na ye be ma lawyer kwan ama wa summarize bibia ma ye ne so ma ye ni Misty baby enkodi nkomo Abigail pepra se di na ne ma ne papa de to no bo a na ne bu yefu but enuane ni di wo shada ye ne no eni nkomo anopai Sister Abigail aha machi so emame adana wuginan miehu se ne aba ne kan ekọ ewo honum
oh adan de wutimi say yes sasia fiti enre nyina no se na ne yes sasu die ebeba ne ye ne pepepe ba enrai enumrede so seven nyina na pinsit no esasia by ballot papers ne sasia eba hanum a ye de PM ewo collation center ye de PM ewo collation center ne de ye ni die esasia ni se bibia ebe ko so ntentem se ne be ya obi abenya ne ba bi eti edineti afa ne hu se ebia we na presidential and I say parliamentary no wono na examination na do na yebe pie mu wa hanom no wutimi wo say electoral commission officers for ni bi and na say omoja mo pink sheet no egugu ballot papers no ono ma sele enti almost silly, you know, and penny for what that I had money now so say. So officials, you know, every baby on winning now and Sama Baka. And Nadia on Bay Day, on the me I say about now say I can name in our boom, and who baby MPP da, and who baby NDC da, now say about parliamentary so you win your way day, or more that, and to say I make a say dear, I think that the same penny for a day, I do